Hello, this is Kristen with the Queen Anne's County Library with today's kit, which is the Women's Suffrage Inspired Rosette. This is an example of what we're going to make. And let's get to unpacking our kit. So you should have received something like this if you had signed up for the kit. And inside, you see we have three things of fabric. We have our needle attached to one of them. So I'll put that aside. So we have our needle and thread. Then we have our purple fabric, which purple stood for the loyalty to the movement. Then we have our white fabric, and white stood for purity. And then we have our gold fabric, which stood for life and the color of light. So we have that, and then also inside we have one antique button and also a pin for your backing. So put that aside, and the only thing that you should really hopefully need from home is a pair of scissors to cut your thread. So we are going to start with our purple fabric first, and your needle and thread. So you want to, you can see there's the smoother part of your fabric. So you want to have that for the top part. So take your needle and go in like that. And we're just going to do a running stitch along the edge. So you don't have to be too tight. Just go around. And with the running stitch will allow us to pull up the material to get a tight little rosette at the end. You can kind of see right now how the fabric is pulling. Let me pull it tight. Okay, I'm getting close to the end right here. So I'll show you how to close up your rosette. Just one more here. Go down. Okay, and then you just want to take your thread and you want to pull it. So it goes all the way around. It forms almost this little bag looking thing. And you want to push it down like that. So you can see there. And it generally never seems to be perfectly circular, but it's very close. So you can see one side and then the other. And so you can see how you build on top of this part, all the layers. So to end that, let me just find my needle. Got a little twisted up here. And I am just gonna kind of go through some of the layers of fabric here just to pull it together. And it may look a little bit ugly underneath, but this is all gonna get covered. So just go through it a couple times just to hold all the parts together, and just make sure you don't go through on that side. Just gonna do one more down here. Okay, and then just pull that tight, make sure everything looks tight. And then I'm just gonna go through one more time, but this time I'm gonna catch my thread just to end it. Go through like that, and then find that thread. And just make your little knot, just so it stays a little secure. And then you can just cut it. So then you can see you have one of your rosettes formed, and you just are going to want to take your the end of your thread and knot it a couple times, and then you will want to repeat it with your other two fabrics. And this one, you can kind of see this side doesn't have as much texture, so that would be the back side. So this is the side that you're going to want to have folded up. So put your needle through on the flat side. And once again, just start going around towards the edges with your running stitch. Okay, I am just finishing up my last rosette here, the gold color. So we want to, once again, just pull it all together, and this one's going to be a little tricky because it's very tiny. Just spread it out a little bit. And then once again, just kind of catch some of these edges together just to hold it in place. So with this one though, we're not going to cut our thread. We're going to continue to use it as we sew our 3 levels together. So now you can see I have my purple, I have my white, and I have my gold. So we're just going to stack them on top of each other like so. And then I'm just going to go through a couple times all the layers, and it is pretty thick, so I have to do a little bit of pulling there, make it work. And after doing this a couple of times, well, you probably just need to do it one time. You have your button here, and so you just want to put it on, and then we can sew this on too while we are sewing all the layers together. So just catch that and go through again. I'm trying to find where the hole is. And your the shank of your buttons will be different. These are all antique buttons that perhaps were worn by a woman who wasn't able to vote. So you can have that neat little aspect on it. Just gonna do it one more time just to make sure everything is secure. So you can see we have all 3 of our layers together. And then the last thing that we want to do is we want to sew on our pin. And if you don't want to sew it, you can also hot glue it. I'm just going to sew it here. Okay, so just line it up. And then you see the various holes here. You'll just want to go through them and do that a few times just to make everything secure. And go from one side to another. And we are almost done. So you can probably go back another time just to make sure everything is tight and secure on this. I think some of this will also depend on how much thread is left on your needle, hopefully enough. Okay, so we have our pin on the back. We're just gonna end up our thread here by knotting it a couple times. Just make sure everything is secure. Cut that, and there should be our completed pin. Thank you for joining us today as we made our women's suffrage inspired rosette, just celebrating the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. And please remember to look on our calendar to see what other upcoming take-home kits we have on offer. We have stuff going into the fall now, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.